Call to order the Siloam Springs Board of Directors meeting for January 21st, 2025. Roll call.
Blair. Here. Barnes.
Here.
Wiles.
Here.
Hunt.
Here.
Rissler.
Here.
Allen.
Here.
Carroll.
Here.
Thank you. At this time, if you all will please stand with me as Director Wiles leads us in prayer, and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father, we come before you this evening praising you for your goodness toward us each and every day. And Father, as we gather this evening to consider the items before us, Father, we just ask that you give us your wisdom, that you give us your guidance, Father, and that the decisions we make will be in accordance with you. We're so thankful for this time tonight, serving in this community. Father, we just ask your continued blessings as we go through each day and as we try to live as you would have us to live. We're so grateful that you love us like you do. We are so grateful that your Son came and died for each and every one of us. And it is in his name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. I would like to ask that anyone that has an electronic device, please silence that or turn it off so we don't have an interruption during our meeting tonight. Thank you very much for that. The first item on our agenda is public input time. At this time, I would ask if there is anyone that would like to address this board on an item that is not listed on our regularly scheduled agenda. If you would like to speak to this board, please come to the podium, give us your name, your address, and you will have 3 minutes in which to address the board. So is there anyone here that would like to come and speak at this time? Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is David Shelton. My address is 22088 Sawmill Road here in Siloam. I am part of Grateful Bowls. We offer a free meal on Fridays, and we've been heavily involved in some stuff with some other people. I wrote down what I wanted to say so that I didn't miss anything, so because I can get off in some rabbit trails. So, all right. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. It's an honor to share what's on my heart, and I believe the hearts of many here in Siloam Springs. Over the cold days this month, we witnessed something truly remarkable, an outpouring of love and compassion for the community toward our homeless neighbors. Together, we were able to set up an emergency tent, providing not only a warm place for them to sleep, but also a hot meal to sustain them. What stands out to me is that this effort was not the work of one organization or one church alone. It was the result of many people united in a purpose, pooling our resources together to meet a pressing need. This reminds me of Jesus' words, Matthew 25:40. Truly I tell you, whatever you do for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you do unto me. This month we became the hands and feet of Jesus, as we're called to be in 1 Corinthians 12:27, which says, now you are the body of Christ, and each one of you is part of it. By stepping out in faith, we have demonstrated what it means to walk in love and action, fulfilling our call as believers. Through these efforts, we've also proven an important point. Our community needs to be prepared for emergencies. While I don't believe a 365-day shelter for the homeless is necessary at this time, I do believe we need to put something in place, a plan, a facility, and resources to meet the challenges that may arise. We've all seen stories of other communities devastated by natural disasters, waiting helplessly for outside aid to arrive. We cannot afford to put ourselves in that position. Whether it's severe weather, an unexpected crisis, or another cold snap, we need to act now. Proverbs 21:31 reminds, the horse is made ready for the day of battle, but victory rests with the Lord. Preparation is not practical, it's biblical. Tonight, I'm asking you to partner with us in preparing an emergency shelter for our community. It doesn't need to be extravagant, but it does need to be effective. In the face of an emergency, We shouldn't have to scramble or wonder what to do. We should already know. Every member of this community deserves to be treated with dignity, and no one should be left behind in their time of need, as it says in Galatians 2. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. We are eager to hear your thoughts and ideas on this matter. Together, we can find a way to partner effectively to protect lives and strengthen our community's resilience. Let us not wait for tragedy to strike before we act. Let's be proactive, united, and prepared, because that's what community is all about. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Is there anyone else?
Madam Mayor, may I ask, you said you serve meals on Fridays. Where is that?
It's at Word of Life.
On Benton Street.
Across from the church.
Okay.
Park, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, just come to the podium and give us your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Carla Cruz, and my address is 2104 North Inglewood Street, Siloam Springs. I also wrote mine down, I am one of the people who helps put the temporary emergency shelter here in Siloam Springs, and I help coordinate and oversee it as well. Pastor Tim has reached out to me the second time. I feel like it was because he realized that we were organized and efficient, and I too would like to touch base and see how we can work together and to come up with a plan to help assist and our unhoused residents of Siloam Springs. I am aware that Genesis House and the resources that they have to offer, but they are only a 2-hour shelter. I am not looking to enable anyone. I do not believe that we need a homeless shelter, but a temporary emergency shelter, not necessarily just for the weather, but for the other extreme crisis, for we are in a tornado alley, and we could even have wildfires that could occur, and what would be of the residents that would be impacted and affected. What then? Isaiah 58:7 says to share your food with the hungry and give shelter to the homeless, give clothes to those who need them, and do not hide from relatives who need your help. We have a huge group of connections that are willing to provide disaster relief training, crisis relief, and with your help, we would like to know what we can do to help our brothers and sisters in Christ that have found themselves in a hard situation. Like I stated before, I am not wanting to enable anyone, but give them hope and resources to get out of the situation that they have found themselves in at the moment. We have had rededications to the Lord, about 20 people getting prayed over. A few non-believers volunteered to pray, and one of our guests got himself 2 jobs, one at Jetstreams and one at Casey's Pizza. This is just a few of the testimonies of the work that we are doing. I would hope to continue our mission and to show, and now I'm reaching out to you guys, the city of Siloam Springs, see how we could help us reach this goal that a lot of people have in their mind, helping our fellow residents in this wonderful town that I call home. I am gonna let you guys know, we're not a government granted location. It is just volunteers that are doing this. So we have been doing this a little bit differently. I know normally there is a temperature threshold. I know normally there's different guidelines and rules, but that's what we're trying to reach out to you guys to help us get it structured and get it done properly. And maybe we could help different people in different places and help them better themselves in this town.
Thank you, Carla.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
before we have anyone else speak, I just wanted to address this. I think at the last board meeting, it had come up, and our city administrator said there had been some question of liability. But it was amazing to see our community come together and on the grounds of New Life Church, put this tent up, and really from different groups, personnel pulling themselves up by their bootstraps. No help from organizations except their own, mainly churches and food pantry people that help others, and that's their purpose in life. And so I just wanted to read something to you. I got yesterday from Jesse Parrish, who is the Word of Life pastor. He wrote me yesterday afternoon. He said, "Hey, brother, as you may know, I have partnered with some other ministries in town and have put up temporary shelter tent. I have seen lots of vile things posted about the city and other churches for not being a part of it. I want you to know this was never my intention. I love my city and was wondering if we could get together and help us figure out a joint effort to secure a building for future if and when there is a need again. I have the manpower and the support to oversee and supply the other needs I have received, and I have received a groundswell of support from our beautiful community. One of the things people keep asking is, what about the community building? We have spent more than enough on propane to have rented it for a month. I don't believe we need a full-time shelter in this town that will bring more in, and we certainly don't need that, but we certainly need a designated space for inclement weather emergency shelter. It could be set up in half a day and collapsed and cleaned in about the same amount of time. It would be like we were never there. It could also be done for any other emergency crisis with the same team and resources. I am building a permanent emergency response team and would love for the city to play a part in it. We just need the space indoors. I could certainly cover the rest. So I immediately, because I agree with everything Jesse said, I immediately called Alan Gilbert, our city administrator, and asked what was the situation for not having the community building open for this. And again, he understood what had been said before was that there was a question of liability. And so I got Jesse's number, I got Alan, I gave it to Alan, and I hope in the future that we can, because as Jesse talked to me later on the phone, he just wants an open dialogue, that we can come together at the table and have some system set up for future emergencies, whether it be tornado, flood, or in this case, severe cold. We all know across the country, there's been people that have become homeless more in the last few years than probably the last 30 years because of the high costs involved in inflation and rent and everything that goes up. And so to see the amount of effort that has come together on the fly, literally no plan except every day putting more and more and more together, has been an amazement to me. I told Alan, I said, listen, if it's a question of liability, don't let it be the city. I'll pay. I've got other people that will pay. We will rent the community building. But in some way, other than a tent with heaters, people are still outside. And I said, we have got a big, wide open building built very well back in the 40s when they knew how to build. And it's got central heat and air, and it's got 2 permanent bathrooms. So why can we not come up with some plan, especially when you don't have one person that's trying to do it, you've got a whole team. And as Jesse has said, they can put it back the way it was before they got there, when they're done with it. And it really got to me because I looked at the weather and I said, my gosh, it's going to be 7 degrees tonight, 9 degrees tomorrow. And yeah, it heats up a little over the weekend, but it's back down into the 20s next week. So I think Alan thought, as I did too, that we were needing to get this done right away. And Jesse said, well, we've already got this set up now, the tent and
David.
everything, but maybe in the future.
I'm going to ask you to also adhere to the 3 minutes. This is during public input. So I think this is a discussion that perhaps Alan needs to get information together and come back to the board with that.
That's exactly what I was trying to get to and state
Thank you.
that I appreciate them coming and give a little background as to what's gone on so far.
Madam Mayor, me
Yes.
and the director talked yesterday, and it's something's kind of hard to do on the fly, but, I talked to Jay, had meetings with staff today saying, all right, what can we do? So we'll work together, put a cold weather policy together. I had Travis send me the schedule today of what the community building looks like to see what we can do, but we'll certainly look into see what we can do.
That's all I think anybody is hoping for. Thank you, Al.
Thank you very much. So is there anyone else? Yes, sir. Give us your name and address, and you will have 3 minutes.
Madam Mayor, my name is Ray Hines, and I live at 475-462 East 594 Road, Watts, Oklahoma. And I didn't come with prepared remarks, but I was delighted to hear what I heard. I walked in a few minutes late, being talked about. And really am grateful to see that that spirit is operating, not just that spirit, those individuals, these are individuals making choices, but that is, they are not alone. There's many individuals in Siloam Springs, maybe not even participating in this particular effort, that have it in their heart to respond, and we've seen it at different times in our history. And I believe, if my memory is right, there actually used to be a Department of Emergency, I don't know the name of it, but it was an Emergency Response Department in Siloam Springs Administration that actually conducted things like the Citizens Emergency Response Training. I remember I attended to 2 of those. My wife and I both did. This was 15 years ago or 20 years ago. I'm not sure how long ago it was. But I'm just saying there used to be a partnership in that effort, and the city, and there were a lot of people that attended that and expressed interest and were ready to respond when there was a need. So I really am encouraged to hear that, and I've been part of the heat shelter thing as well for the last 2 different times, and needs are being met. And a lot of people are donating a lot of time and effort and resources, and not just a few people. I mean, there's businesses, and there's a lot of people that stepped up as soon as there was a need made known. And I think the citizens of Siloam Springs would very much support your intentional effort to partner with some sort of group, or maybe develop some, I don't know if you need a department again, but I think that this is a thing that is part of our culture, and I think it's part of our future. I think we responded really well to the Katrina thing. It was really remarkable what we saw happen, and I think there's other things that could happen down the road. So just want to express approval of that cause. I think this is a worthy thing, and I don't think we need a full-time shelter. I think that, but being able to respond when it's time and not being confused about it. So a committee that can plan and say, this is what we'll do here, and how do you cooperate with the emergency services? There's rules for that, and we don't need to get into the details, but there's ways of being ready to do that. So,
Thank you,
right,
Ray.
thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
may I make a quick note? Nathan Hild was over that program. I don't know if you guys remember.
I do.
So he might be a great resource to consider. He's still in the community.
Thank you, Lisa.
We've also got a great city employee who knows a lot about emergency management. It's Wade Baker.
Yep.
He's fantastic.
So there's a lot of people
he
that can
does
come
work.
together,
Well, he did.
past and present.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? If not, we will move on then, and I will ask if there is anyone that would like to address the board on an item that is on our consent agenda for this evening. And there is not, so we will move on into our presentations. We have several of them tonight, and I'm excited about that. We've got some great things going on, and good people that we want to recognize. So our first one is Chief Scott Miller with our police department, and he is going to introduce some officers.
Madam Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the board, Scott Miller, Chief of Police. Thank you for this opportunity. I'd just like to introduce some of our newest officers to each of you, and in no particular order. Officer Natalie Jones. Hi. Natalie comes to us from Dallas, Texas area as a certified officer from Grand Prairie Police Department, and she moved to Northwest Arkansas in September of 2004, and we are grateful to have her and the experience that she brings with us, and even her husband you see in the back there, who's a local Arkansas State Trooper with Troop L as well. So I just wanted to introduce Officer Jones to you. The next, we have Sean O'Brien. Sean O'Brien came to us from Phoenix, Arizona, and came onto the department recently and graduated from the Police Academy on December 12th. Next is Officer Joshua Fowler. Joshua Fowler moved to Northwest Arkansas in 2018 from West Monroe, Louisiana, and is also a recent graduate from the Police Academy in this December. And finally, we have Officer Matthew Wilson. Matthew came to us from Prairie Grove and also graduated in the December 12th Academy. Thank you all. Thank you. This is just a testament to how great this city is and that people want to come work here from all areas throughout the nation. And they land here, and we are so fortunate to have these great young officers that'll be with us for a long time. So thank you, and let me introduce you to them.
Good job, Chief.
Thank you,
They're
Scott.
looking a lot younger than or I'm getting a lot older. But welcome. You guys are part of an amazing community that brought me here. The support that this board gives our law enforcement and first responders is second to none. And they just expect you to do the right things, and we welcome you. Welcome to our
Absolutely.
family.
We look forward to you being here many years, seeing your faces a lot.
Well. Depends on in what
Well,
setting.
There's a couple speeders on the board, I will point out.
Thank you all. Next, we have Chris Paxton. Chris is going to do a couple of things. He's going to make a recognition of service award, and then he is also going to talk about our community, floodplain community of the year. Chris?
Thank you, Mayor. And as we recognize the incoming members of our team here at the City of Siloam Springs, we also have a certificate of appreciation here for an outgoing member of our team as well. The City of Siloam Springs proudly presents a certificate of appreciation to David Bailey and recognizes in recognition of 22 years of exceptional service. If I can have Mr. Bailey come forward. He has provided that 22 years of exceptional service and dedication as the city prosecutor. Since May of 2002, Bailey has demonstrated unwavering commitment to justice and the community by prosecuting all traffic and misdemeanor cases occurring with the City of Siloam Springs. Your steadfast dedication, professionalism, and pursuit of fairness have been vital to maintaining the integrity of our legal system and to the safety of our community. As you conclude your tenure as the city prosecutor, we extend our deepest gratitude for your tireless efforts and wish you continued success in all of your future endeavors. Your impact on the community will not be forgotten. Thank you so much. If you want to come over here, we'll get it.
If I could just have two seconds. I want to thank each and every one of you for this. I want to thank y'all for the last 23 years. Thank you for taking a chance on a young attorney in 1996 when I opened my practice here. I love Siloam Springs. I will always love Siloam Springs, and I'm not going to be that far away, so please come see me in Bentonville. And if you need anything, you know how to get a hold of me. This will always be near and dear to me, this town, and I love each and every one of you, so thank you so much.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, Mayor. To keep the energy going, one of the things we
Chris,
also
if I
would-
may, just
Sure.
before Chris starts, guys, it was just a few of us were able to attend AML last week, and just want to thank Megan for writing a lot of these awards and the hard work Chris and his staff is, because when you get called up to the awards in front of everyone, 750, I think, participants this year, we weren't just called once, twice, we were called 3 times. With this one, 4 times. It just shows the great work that the city's doing, the employees are doing, the board is doing. It takes a team, and it's amazing. So I want to throw that in there, that these are pretty neat. Megan really hit a home run by taking the time and writing and putting us in the running. So it was really nice to hear her name called several times.
Absolutely, it was.
And again, thank you, Mayor. And for the next presentation, I would like to invite to the podium Ms. McKenzie from the Arkansas Floodplain Management Association and our floodplain administrator, Randall Clark. The community development staff is second to none in the city of Siloam Springs, and that includes all components of our team. In this case, Randall Clark serves in multiple capacities with the city, and one of those capacities is the city's floodplain administrator. In 2024, the city of Siloam Springs was awarded the 2024 Floodplain Community of the Year from the Arkansas Floodplain Management Association.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie, and on behalf of the Arkansas Floodplain Managers Association, we just want to say thank you to the City of Siloam for their continued support and effort in making their community safe for all of the people that live here.
And with that, we will move to Megan, who is also going to talk about an award that we received.
So good evening, Madam Mayor and Board of Directors. I'm so excited to be here today to share two incredible achievements for our city. This year, Siloam Springs has been recognized as the in the Arkansas Business 2024 Trendsetter City Awards. This is an honor that shines a spotlight on cities across the state. It's for going above and beyond to improve lifestyles, infrastructure, and wellness in our communities. So first, I am proud to share that we won first place in the Public Works and Environmental and Green Management category. This award recognizes the amazing work done by our Parks and Recreation team on the Sager Creek restoration efforts. This project This project has not only enhanced the beauty of our community, but also reflects our commitment to protecting and preserving the environment. I would like to invite Community Director Chris Paxton and Parks and Recreation Manager Travis Cheney to come up so we can thank them and congratulate them. And I have an award to present to you guys, and Stephanie will be taking the picture. And then for our second award, our recognition, we won an honorable mention in the infrastructure and water category for the renovation of our water treatment facility completed in 2022. And this project has been a huge, major investment for the future of Siloam Springs, ensuring access to clean, safe water for years to come. And I have to give a shout out to Josh Napier because he actually wrote this award. It's amazing the teamwork that comes together to put all of this together, and we have such incredible staff here. So I'd like to bring up Public Works Director Kevin Moore and Josh Napier up, who is the water treatment plant superintendent. And just congratulate them for their amazing work. So we are already looking ahead for this year to see what awards we'll be submitting for 2025. And these awards are just a testament to the passion and dedication of our city staff and their commitment to making Siloam Springs a better place to live and work and just be. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Next is Stephanie.
So good evening, Madam Mayor and Directors. Stephanie Friedel, standing before you not as your library manager, but as a resident of 102 Magnolia, and a member of the Governor's Advisory Commission on National Service and Volunteerism, a role to which I was appointed by Governor Asa Hutchinson in 2022. Our group's primary duties include overseeing the federal funds distributed to the state for the AmeriCorps programs and promoting national service and volunteering throughout the state. Each year, we also get the opportunity to highlight outstanding examples of community service throughout the state with the Volunteer Community of the Year Award. This award has been given out for more than 40 years now as an overall city award. This year, in addition to the overall city and town awards, the commission decided to highlight cities and towns for innovative and sustainable activities. This year, the commission received many high-quality nominations. As Siloam Springs was nominated, I, as a city employee, removed myself from the discussion and voting of the city categories. I listened in on much discussion over different aspects of different cities, and there was one clear choice for the most innovative community of the year, Siloam Springs. The commission was impressed with how the city recognized the need to unify the community, to enhance volunteer engagement, and to increase awareness of local nonprofit organizations, and launched the Love Siloam initiative. From the branding to support of organizations and businesses for the development and execution of the day's activities, and then the volunteers who committed their time the day of, demonstrate the power of what we can do when we all work together. Congratulations to the city's Parks and Recreation, Benton County Habitat for Humanity, Kind at Heart Ministries, Siloam Springs Chamber of Commerce, Simmons, Moss Insurance, and the many, many volunteers, additional businesses, and nonprofits who made Love Siloam a success and inspiration to the rest of the state. And now I'd like to invite the Love Siloam Committee, Chris Paxton, Travis Cheney, up to accept this award. And as a side note on that award, I think we also get highway signs as you come into the town, so people know. And I think we get one on both ends of 412, showing that we're such a great community of the year.
Fantastic.
Can I say?
Yes,
You
you
have to install that yourself, so.
So I just want to say thanks, State of Arkansas, for recognizing Siloam Springs. It just really is, the heart of Siloam Springs to care about its community and be community. And Love Siloam brings that out in several ways. And I just want to say you're only as good as the people around you. And I think that Love Siloam speaks that loudly and by loving one another. So thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
Madam Mayor, can I say something real quickly?
Yes.
It's been a couple years since I've been able to go to one of the AML conferences, but when I have been in the past and they've been giving out the awards, I've always thought, well, we're just as good as all those other towns. Why are we not getting those awards? And so I just want to thank Megan for bringing the award committee to the attention of those that award the awards, because we need to tell our story, and this is what does that. And it does just prove that we are an awesome town with an awesome city staff, and we just have a lot going on here, and people just don't know it until we tell them about it. Same with you, Stephanie. Thank you for getting us out there. I love what Love Siloam does. I've been able to participate in a couple of your activities, not as many as I would like to, but keep up the good work. Thank you.
Absolutely, and I will tell you, and Alan will agree with me, we had so many people from all across the state come and talk to us and tell us congratulations and how special Siloam must be. And we, of course, said, well, absolutely it is, and you need to come see us, So, yeah, thank you to our community, to our board, to our staff. All of you make us great.
And again, it's amazing. I was like Miss Mindy last year. I was at AML and I saw these awards giving out. I'm like, hey, we're doing great things. So the team got together and we said, and it was just amazing. We got an amazing staff. And I gave you each a booklet. I put it in front of you. This is the Arkansas Volunteer Community of the Year Award. If you don't recognize what's on the front cover that was given to every attendee, that's our city. So I thought you guys would want a copy. So me and Brad kind of stole a bunch of, I don't know if that's the right word to use, but we brought one back for folks, and we have plenty if you want one. But I was really proud of that, and it talks about our city, and we were recognized. So great work, staff.
We're just borrowing them.
We're just borrowing.
So next,
They weren't using them.
Travis, I believe you have some awards or presentations to give.
Good evening, Board. Travis Cheney, Parks and Recreation Manager. I have a very brief presentation. Before we get too far removed from the holiday season, Administrator Gilbert had asked that we give a quick update on the Holly Jolly Light Competition that was hosted by the Parks and Rec Department right before Christmas last year. We did things slightly differently. It's a little dark on the slide, but our first place, second place, and third place winners all received a big yard sign to display out in front of their home, and they all received a Christmas ornament with their kind of a medal that they could hang on their tree. Our first place winner was Frosty's Funk Factory on 707 Amanda Drive. Second place winner was the Muncie House on Washington Street. And our third place winner was Harper's Holiday Hideaway on Hat Creek Lane. We had over 1,000 people vote and go out and enjoy the creativity and celebratory season. And so thanks to everybody who participated. Thank you for bringing the Christmas spirit, and congratulations to those who won.
Thank you, Travis. What a night, right? So with that, we will move into our consent agenda. Item A, regular meeting minutes, January 7, 2025. B, Resolution 03-25, amending 2024 budget. Purchase, budget amendment, Aerolator new mixer and mixer repair from JCI for $50,514.54. Item D, purchase, budget amendment, belt press sludge pump repair, Haynes Pump and Process, $17,742.15. Item E, purchase, budget amendment, 25 horsepower Fairbanks Morse RAS pump from EMC for $32,174.74. Item F, purchase, Public Service Department, Solid Waste Division, 2025 Titan 48 feet dual axle tipper trailer from Ken's Truck Repair Incorporated for $77,809.84. And item G, Resolution 04-25, setting hearing date for easement vacation at the 2200 block of Highway 16. Directors, is there any item that you would like to have pulled for separate consideration? There is not. I will accept a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call.
Burns.
Yes.
Wiles.
Yes.
Hunt.
Yes.
Rissler.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Thank you. With that, we will then move into our regularly scheduled items, which we are going to move our staff reports up to this time on the agenda because we want to allow them to have time to speak to the board. So we will start with the fourth quarter 2024 nonprofit reports, which is from our History Museum, Main Street Siloam, and Chamber of Commerce. And Alan, do you have anything that you would like to say before we have those? No. All right. So who's going first? Mary.
Good evening, everybody. I am Mary Nolan, Director of Operations for our museum. And I do want to clarify one thing, is that I just don't want to mislead anybody. I am not a historian. I am the meet and greeter at the museum for the most part. But I found out I love the history of Siloam. And most of my history professors from college would be very surprised at that. But that's why I do what I do, and I'm so happy to do that. This past year, we did have a couple really unique events. We had a group from the college known as the Osher Lifelong Learning Group, and they came here and took a tour of downtown, saw the museum, and also spent some time up at John Brown. And so that was really fun to work with U of A on that. The theme of Toyland was here this year for our Christmas parade. So we were lucky enough to have Nancy Jesser Halsey present us with all her historic toys. And it was a great event. We had probably over 100 people that attended with us that evening. We gave out about 45 little stockings of things to the children. And so we're just really pleased with how that came out. And really, it was hard on the kids because they're antique toys. So they walk into a whole room of toys and they can't play with very much. But the parents really enjoyed it, and I'm so thankful to her for doing that for us. There's a lot of other things, of course, in the report. We did submit a grant this year to upgrade our electronic equipment, our computers and things, so that we can do a speedier job of scanning pictures and getting them labeled in our database and moving that along, and also to keep up with social media and the amount of memory and things it takes on a computer to do that. Again, I'm not a computer person either. So we have a great guy, Nolan Hill is the one who's doing our social media. And so we're looking forward to that. We anticipate to know about that grant by March, and excited to do that. And then, you know, our little museum, you know, you hear the chamber will get up here and talk about the 1.5 million people that came to Dogwood. They'll be talking about, you know, they have a lot more people. Main Street has groups that come down, and we get thousands of people throughout the year with them. Well, the museum's a little different. But this year, I would like to share some statistics that we did. We did have over 1,000 patrons that came to the museum from 38 states and 11 countries. So we spent about 240 hours with those patrons. And I know there was one day that Don spent about 4 hours with a family that came in looking for some information about their Quaker heritage in our area. So, and he spent almost a half a day with them doing that. We had about 550 hours of hosting events and outreach. 12 exhibits were updated this year. 700 hours of research. And that's kind of what Don Warden does mostly, is people want to know about old homes or businesses, and he does a fabulous job with the research. And we got a little bit over 3,000 Facebook followers, and we tried to do that for a long time. So those are pretty significant for us. I would like to announce that on March 11th, that's a Saturday, between 10:30 and 1, we're going to have a history lesson on the Civil War, mainly related to the Battle of Pea Ridge, which was fought on March 7th and 8th. So we're going to have some memorabilia on display. We're going to have two photographers from town that are going to come in and share scenes of Siloam Springs. So we'll have those up. And we'll have some new exhibits up about our history a little bit. But mainly we'll have Rick Parker, who is a local historian. He's done a lot of work with the Smithsonian Institute, and he is going to come and really talk about events that led up to the 7th and 8th, kind of some things that happened on March 6th. So that's at the museum on March 11th. It'll be from 10:30 to about 1 o'clock, or as long as Rick would like to hang around and answer questions and talk history with you. So we're looking forward to doing that this year. So if anybody has any questions or anything, you know where to find me. And really appreciate the support. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary. Appreciate that. Stacy?
Madam Mayor, Board, Stacy Morris, Main Street, Siloam Springs. I'm just going to hit some highlights. You have our report. So Main Street hosted 14 events and 24 farmers market days, which includes 6 kids days at the market. Our Sip and Shop event in December was new, and the retail shop stayed open till 8 for last-minute Christmas shopping. Each shop provided a warm beverage to sip while browsing in the store. It was a really beautiful evening with all the Christmas lights on, the Pool of Siloam taking place at the Chautauqua Amphitheater. Orange Sky carriage rides was set up and available that evening, and all the storefronts were lit up because they were open. There was collaboration taking place in so many ways that evening that provided opportunities for our residents and visitors to enjoy our community. It takes all of us working together to make Siloam a great place to be. Our Homegrown Festival increased in attendance from 3,000 to 4,100. We collaborated with the city and chamber to host four Fourth Fridays. Through the Gloria McEnroe Building Improvement Grant Program, we were able to approve $9,500 in the grant cycle of 23 to 24 to our downtown businesses. And thanks to an increase in our grant from Arkansas Heritage through that same program, we were able to approve $15,000 in grants for the 24-25 cycle and anticipate being able to award that much again in 25-26, possibly more. We hosted 10 breakfast meetings for our downtown stakeholders. This brings our businesses together once a month to meet and discuss all the things happening in our community and to build relationships where we are all supporting one another and working towards the same goals. The Main Street staff attended 4 quarterly Main Street Arkansas workshops, a director's retreat, and Destination Downtown, which is a tri-state Main Street conference. And that provides opportunities for professional development and networking. We distributed 3,000 downtown maps via local businesses and welcome centers across Arkansas, thanks to a partnership with John Brown University. We promoted our events through social media, local digital billboard ads, and press releases, which provide support to our downtown businesses and helps bring foot traffic to that area. Our first event of the year is the 3rd annual Cookie Palooza, which is Siloam's Great Cookie Bake-Off. It'll be hosted February 15th at the Brick Ballroom. Last year, we had approximately 120 guests who attended and tasted cookies provided by 12 bakers who competed for the award of baking the best cookie. And I'm proud to share that the winners of the first year's contest now own Greenfield Coffee and Bakery, formerly the Downtown Bakery. This is a great event for our families to celebrate Valentine's Day and a nice place to go out of the cold in the winter. I'm proud to share that our historic downtown is home to over 100 businesses. So, thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. So Lindsay, I guess you're last.
We'll just say we went in order.
There you go.
Well, I am not Arthur. You will see my face for the next 12 weeks as Arthur's going to be in Little Rock on Tuesday night and Wednesday. And so he just gave me a few notes that he would like me to share with you. At the last board meeting, there was a discussion about a sign for Callahan's at the golf course. The chamber actually wrote a check to the golf course and has made sure that Callahan's now has that sign out there. So that should be up in the near future, but that has been taken care of. Arthur has worked on multiple RFIs over the last quarter. Obviously, that's about all that we're allowed to say. They're all listed on your report as far as the code names, if you will, but he is still working on all of those. The chamber also has recently taken a more active role in tourism, specifically with WOCA. Had several meetings in the last couple of weeks working with stakeholders in both Arkansas and Oklahoma to increase traffic to that area. Yesterday, actually, he submitted a letter in support to the federal government at the request of the NWA Council in support of the the 412 bypass. So that's something that the council is working to make happen sooner, and so he was part of the support for that. We're hosting a free cybersecurity training at the chamber this Thursday at noon. This is hosted by Arkansas Apex, and the focus of this is helping small businesses protect their digital assets. So that's a free training for anybody who would like to attend. Lunch will be provided. Just give us a call and let us know that you're coming. The big thing we're working on, and our first major event of the year, is our annual banquet. That will be February 11th at 6 p.m. at John Brown University. We will be honoring our newest pioneer citizen, Joe Woolbright, which I think Arthur mentioned at the last meeting, as well as our outstanding civic leader, which is James Barnett. We'll also honor our businesses of the year, nonprofit of the year, and just celebrate the successes of 2024 in our business community. For you all, Barbara's working on tickets for that, so if you'd like to attend, you can reach out to her. And then for the general public, $60 a ticket, and we would love to have anyone that would like to come and celebrate with us. Mary mentioned the 1.5 million people who came to the Dogwood Festival. It does feel that way when you're down there, especially if we have sunny days. We began planning this year's Dogwood Festival about the Monday after last year's Dogwood Festival. But this year in particular, with some of the events that have happened around the country, New Orleans, for example, we are working with the police department to ensure that the Dogwood Festival operates smoothly and safely. The bigger it gets, sometimes the harder that can be. So just be aware that we are working on that. May make some things look a little bit different this year, but our top priority is security and safety. So That'll be the last weekend in April, the 25th through the 27th. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you all very much. We always enjoy hearing from you and great stuff going on. So with that, now we will move to our ordinances. Ordinance 25-1, second reading, amend City Municipal Code, Section 22-323, ambulance fee schedule. Chief Kendall?
Dustin Kendall, Fire Chief. I have not heard anything from the public or anything, but I'm here for questions if you all have any.
Thank you, sir. Directors, comments or questions for the chief? No? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address ordinance 25-1? There being none, I'll ask if I have a motion to place ordinance 25-1 on its second reading, suspending the rules, reading by title only.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Wiles.
Yes.
Hunt.
Yes.
Rissler.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Alan?
Ordinance number 25-01, ordinance amending section 22-323 of the Siloam Springs Code to adjust service rates and billing procedures.
Thank you, sir. Next is ordinance 25-02, first reading, annexation of 57.37 acres at the 20,000 block of Bruce Rutherford Road. Ben?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the board. Before you this evening is an annexation ordinance. As the mayor stated, this is the 20,000 block of Bruce Rutherford Road. As you see outlined in the map on the left there, this will be coming in as R2 as the default zone. And the area requested takes in nearly 60 acres. It's at 57.37 acres. As I mentioned, this will come in as R2. That's the residential single-family zoning. It will come in Ward 3. And the land is currently agricultural and not developed. There is a separate application that we're processing right now. It did go through Planning Commission to zone from the R2 to the PD zone, plan development. However, that will not be considered by the board until February the 18th. So that's not for this evening's vote. The annexation the PD zone will cover about 90% of the area proposed for the annexation. Considerations of traffic, drainage, and other development issues will be considered as part of a future preliminary plat if it gets that far. And that would, of course, come before the Planning Commission and the City Board for review. We did receive a public comment today by telephone, just of a questioning nature of the proposal, and staff has addressed the caller's questions. Regarding staff's findings, we found that this meets the guidance of the future land use map, as you see shown on the left there for neighborhoods 1, which accounts for single family, and also meets all the state of Arkansas requirements for annexations. We are available for any of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Directors, comments or questions for Ben? Alan, did you have anything?
Just board, this is the development that we will be having a workshop on February 4th to discuss. This is the first reading, and we'll be able to explain more at the workshop.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address this ordinance? There is not. Board, do I have a motion to place ordinance 25-02 on its first reading, suspending the rules, reading by title only?
Moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Hunt.
Yes.
Rissler.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Wiles.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Alan?
Ordinance number 25-02, an ordinance accepting the annexation of certain territory described at the 20,000 block of Bruce Rutherford Road to the city of Siloam Springs, Arkansas, and assigning same to a ward.
Thank you, sir. Next, ordinance 25-03, first reading, vacation of utility easements, the 1300 block of North Britt Street. Megan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Megan Thomas, Planner 2. This is a vacation request located at the 1300 block of North Britt Street. The applicant is requesting to vacate unused utility easements located on Lot 5, Lot 6, and the proposed Lot 7 of the James West Kelchner subdivision. This request is also associated with a lot line adjustment request and a rezoning request. That rezoning request will be heard at the February 4th Board of Directors meeting. This is the easement closure exhibit. As you can see, the easements to be vacated are in the hatched area in the center of Lot 6R there. The easement's total width is 20 feet. You have a 12-foot easement to the north and an 8-foot easement to the south of that. The easements are not needed by the city or private utility operators and are requested to be permanently closed. The lots are proposed to be reconfigured through the associated lot line adjustment plat with new easement dedications on those newly described property boundaries. Staff has not received any calls or correspondence on this request, and staff finds that the proposed easement vacation meets all requirements as set forth in the city municipal code and state statute, and staff is available for any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Directors, comments or questions? If not, is there anyone in the audience that would like to address ordinance 25-03? There is not. So do I have a motion to place ordinance 25-03 on its first reading, suspending the rules, reading by title only?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Chrysler?
Yes.
Allen?
Yes.
Carroll?
Yes.
Blair? Yes. Burns?
Yes.
Wiles?
Yes.
Hunt?
Yes. Motion is approved. Alan?
Ordinance number 25-03, an ordinance vacating and abandoning the utility easements at the 1300 block of North Britt Street.
Thank you, sir. And with that, we will move into our administrator's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Board. I have some expenditures to report. The first is for $49,950, 270 hours of sprott tree trimming, AECI for the electric department. The second is $41,634.27. That's for the 53 Glock Model 45 TICO Safety for the police department. $30,967 evidence lockers, school lockers for the police department. And then the last one is $32,500, 250 tons of road salt and beet juice, Oakley fertilizer for the street department. Beginning this Thursday, January 23rd, the Armory water tank will be out of service for about a week. After that, we'll take the Hill Street tower offline for about 10 days. During this time, you'll see crews climbing and working around the tanks as part of the routine inspections. These inspections required every 5 years by the Arkansas Department of Health, and they're key to ensuring our water stays clean and safe. I had sent you all a tax, or just a quick text on a tax that we were hearing about, and at AML, there were a lot of cities really nervous about this tax, and then the legislators had spoke, let us know, and then the governor confirmed that this tax, if it goes into effect, will only affect the state portion of the taxes being collected. And then a little bit of good news, community development, we've found some money for Twin Springs. We'll be repainting the park benches so that we have uniformity throughout the park, expected to begin in the spring. And that's my report.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Appreciate that. So with that, we are moving into our director's reports. Before I start that, I would just like to say congratulations to our city and our citizens, our staff, for the great work that you've done and for the recognition that you so deserve for the work that you do in this community. Thank you, Chief, for introducing your new officers to us. We look forward to them serving with us for a long time. And to our nonprofits, thank you all for giving us your reports and for the work that you do for our community. Thank you very much. With that, I will move to our directors, and Mindy, we will start with you, and David, we will end with you, sir.
Yes, welcome to our new officers. Happy to have new staff here. And like you said, it is a testament to who Siloam is, that they're wanting to come from all over. I mean, you mentioned several places they were coming from, so congratulations on getting those new employees, and welcome to them. And congratulations, as the mayor said, and we all said earlier, just on all of the awards that we were recognized for at AML, and the Innovation Award. I think that was recognition from somewhere else, but again, another testimony of who Siloam is. I thank Megan for her work on it, but sounds like she roped a few other people, Josh and others, into helping write the nominations, I think, that she had to submit, but I know she oversaw that process. I just appreciate anybody that was involved in it. We do have that story to tell, and it sounds like it was told well. Congratulations to the Holly Jolly competition winners. Always good to hear that there were a lot of people that were able to go and see the decorations that people spent time on. So, thank you to the Chamber Main Street and the History Museum for the updates, and just for continuing to provide opportunities for our public to take advantage of those particular things that we have to offer in Siloam, in addition to all the other things. And I think the mayor mentioned this as well. Thank you for our citizens. It's because of the citizens that we're able to do and have the desire and want to do the things that we do. And so for those who are supportive of the things that go on in Siloam, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ken?
That look was a little guarded.
Don't
I'm never sure about what.
Well, no, I just saw fear in her eyes. Just a couple of things. The people that got up and spoke about the shelter this evening, I appreciate that. And I probably haven't followed or kept up as much as I probably could have or should have, but I've been trying to, from time to time, just, keep abreast of what they're doing and have done, and it's pretty impressive. It really is, and it's good to see people together for that, and there's still so much that we can do. So I appreciate that conversation continuing and seeing just what all we can do for that segment of our community. I think it's very important. Somewhat related, but maybe a little bit different. Preparation goes a long way, and I just have to commend our road crew and all of those that had a role to play in that. While what we got close to 8 inches, I guess. Didn't seem to stick around very long, but that's because of some efforts of staff in preparing the roads, and it was good. I mean, there was no trouble getting around, and I think they did a great job. I just want to thank them for that. And I guess lastly, if you haven't had a chance to play with the app yet, that's pretty impressive. I have gotten that and just kind of looked around a lot, and another good job by all who took part in getting that up and running. So I just want to say thank you, and if you haven't looked at it yet, you need to. And that's all.
Thank you, sir. Betsy?
I have one thing from me and then a couple from citizens. I wanted to thank Kevin for starting on the whole sidewalk that we talked about before, for Legend neighborhoods, so they don't have to pay, local people don't have to pay a fee or build a sidewalk. So I asked him if a waiver could be done in the meantime, and he said that would have to be discussed internally to decide if they could be approving waivers while the code is being reviewed by the Planning Commission and Board, which I said yes, I thought that would be wonderful, but I'm only one director, so I didn't know if that was something that everybody would be interested in while we're waiting, because I guess it's going to be a while before it can be officially, the code can be officially changed, looking into waivers for the local builders.
Is that something we discussed in a public meeting? I don't remember that
You were here.
conversation.
You
Oh,
were out.
that might be why
Yeah.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, no,
Thank
we
you.
talked about, and others stood up, just, it would go a long way in goodwill towards local builders if like in my neighborhood, we all call it the sidewalk to nowhere. And I know Mindy had mentioned it and several people had mentioned it, that we'd like to see that changed. Where if it is, and Kevin taught me the term, a legend neighborhood, so one that's been around a while, and there will probably never, ever be other sidewalks that they don't have to pay a fee or build a sidewalk. So I asked that, could something be done in the meantime?
There's already a piece of property. Is that for the fill-ins that Brad has discussed in the community to fill in all those spots?
Madam Mayor, Kevin Moore, Public Works. So the item up for consideration, a couple board members have reached out about the sidewalks that are required to be built or paid through fee in lieu with new building permits, particularly on infill lots. And so one of the options that staff proposed to address this would be in that upcoming Unified Development Code update, having a waiver option for legacy neighborhoods that would allow, particularly on cul-de-sacs and things like that, where the city is unlikely to ever come through with a thoroughfare sidewalk project to benefit a large number of the public, to allow them to not necessarily pay the fee in lieu and not have to require the sidewalk. But that'll be an item for consideration before the board. Particularly internally, we're still enforcing the existing code through the master street plan, requiring either construction or fee in lieu. And then once that ordinance comes before the planning commission, if it's the will of the board, then we would begin possibly that fee waiver while it's up for consideration, with the assumption that it would be passed. We can do that through pending ordinance doctrine, typically, once it's actually being considered, not while it's still in draft state.
So then what I requested is, since it sounds like it's going to take a while for that to happen, and there are buildings going on, in fact, there's going to be another one in my neighborhood, 2 more, and there will probably in my lifetime won't be regular sidewalks out there, can it be waived in the meantime, since we know it's coming? And it sounded like at that meeting, the majority of the directors were in favor of that. So, and you had said in your email that you'd have to discuss it internally, so.
Madam Mayor, Jay Williams, City Attorney. The discussion involves an existing ordinance that was passed by the board. And as was explained, once there's a new ordinance before the board for consideration, staff is allowed to consider waivers. The only other way to proceed more quickly might be to have a standalone new ordinance that addresses that. I don't know if that's feasible or not. I will say that, as the board is aware, staff has been working hard on an updated Unified Development Code. I was provided a draft of that last Friday. I don't know, it's 150 or 200 pages, so I'm making good progress in reviewing that. I have a deadline to return it to planning, and I don't know what the estimated date is to get it to Planning Commission, but it should be sooner than later.
Well, Director Rissler have a smiler face. We do have that ready. It's in review, and we'll be getting that code out. She stays on me about that, but no, seriously.
So is that change she's requesting in that code, in the UDO?
Not in the current draft. So we still have public meetings and then, of course, several workshops for the different areas of the code. And so that draft will continue to change before it actually comes before the Planning Commission later this year. And I'd had let Director Blair know that what we had discussed came after that draft was more or less finalized and sent to Jay. And so that would be not in the first version, but in a future version, we would add that language.
I'm not sure the staff would be in full support of getting rid of it. Now, again, it's an ordinance, that's the board's, but it does have, its use. But again, if it's a waiver or something like that, we'll be happy to look into that and see what we can do.
it sounds like if it's for the infills, meaning you're trying to populate the properties that are in the community already instead of the sprawl that's going out. And that's all you're talking about. It sounds like another ordinance would be quicker.
I have direction, and yes, we'll have you look into that.
Look into that for them, okay.
Did you write a standalone ordinance that wouldn't contradict the current ordinance?
It would have to repeal those provisions of the current ordinance, and I've not looked at that to see how many different sections and subparts and other tentacles that may reach into. So staff would have to give that some consideration and look at all the things that might be impacted by that, and then bring that back to the board with a recommendation, because there are certainly parts of town where sidewalks are needed, which is why the board enacted the ordinance to begin with, so.
My understanding, the original ordinance was for new development, like 20-some years ago, which makes sense that, you're building a new neighborhood, and I don't know when every building part was added on. It's just, it sounds like the unified code is, I keep hearing later this year, which sounds like a long way off, and I think it would be a really nice thing and go a long way towards goodwill with builders if something could be figured out in the meantime.
That does raise a question, though. So I get out where you live, not having it, but my husband and I own 2 lots in the historical overlay district. In the historical overlay, we're really missing a lot of sidewalks. So how would you define those separately?
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Kevin Moore, Public Works. The draft that I've been considering would be very limiting in its language. So probably neighborhoods greater than 20 years old on a cul-de-sac, and neighborhoods where they're not on any sort of future pedestrian improvement map that we have, because we have that list of 80 or so pedestrian projects that are current needs. And so there'd be qualifiers on that waiver.
But how do you define a neighborhood? Like my situation was the Garland Street. There are homes there that have been there over 20 years, but then there are new homes, and those new homes are being required to put sidewalks on both sides of the street, but now we have a sidewalk in front of one house on one side of the street and 3 houses on the other side of the street. But they're brand new houses. They're never going to connect, really. So, but there's also houses that have been there over 20 years. So is that an old neighborhood?
I think that one, specifically Garland, because you're talking about the section between Dogwood and Carl, and I believe that is on our map as a fairly high priority connection, since it's within half a mile of that school on Elm Street, if I recall correctly.
But it's probably still not, it's probably not in your plan to do sidewalks on both sides of the street, is it?
That's fair to say, yes.
Partial sidewalk on one side of the street. Okay.
Okay, and this, I was supposed to ask last time and I forgot. So I know the water leak at Don Hill was fixed so the sewer could start being addressed. But the question I was asked was, what about the water bill? I know that they're in federal bankruptcy court and so we can't collect on it, but is the water bill not continuing to build, and how's that being addressed?
And again, that's, I've got your direction, and we'll discuss it as staff where I can better understand, because I know the communication that we've gone kind of back and forth with Kevin, and I've talked to Mindy a little bit about her director, just on the changes that we want to make. And
I think I went to my next question.
She switched topics to this.
oh, I'm sorry, I was
Water bill.
texting, I was like, you UDC code to that.
That's not it.
Completely missed it.
Madam Mayor, may I respond to that?
Yes, you may.
Yes, please.
Let me hear the question again.
I was asked, I understand that Don Hill, the water bill, they're in federal bankruptcy, and so it's hard to go after them for the over 200,000, but obviously they're continuing, unless they've started paying their bill, they're continuing to build a water bill, and how is that being addressed for currently?
Now I know everybody's looking at me funny because that's nowhere close to what I was doing.
Yeah, no, I was very confused.
Jay?
So, Madam Mayor, it's, I have worked with city administrator and have been involved in meetings with folk from the Don Hill area. And it appears that we had successive owners of that property, and that the bulk of that billing is from prior owners of the property who are no longer there. And I know that from our last meeting in December, the clear message was that the leak was going to be fixed, which it has been. I believe it was fixed before the end of the year, and that starting with the January billing, they were going to be treated like any other water customer, and water would be disconnected if that bill was not paid current.
Okay, that's the part I hadn't heard, so thank you.
Thank you,
Kevin,
Jay.
I don't recall, since that's been fixed, have we kept up? I don't remember hearing anybody saying that we have the leak. Everything seems to be smoothing or going smoothly.
That leak appears to be fixed, at least on the surface, and we'll verify with billing from the because there's a master meter and then all the separate meters. So we have the usage for that Turnberry circle. And so we'll compare a couple billing cycles to determine if there are any more leaks. There actually was an additional leak that has already been fixed because it falls under that same umbrella where we're expecting everything that goes through that master meter to be paid. And so we'll examine the usage over the next couple months to determine if there are any more leaks or if we can call that fixed.
Okay, thank you. And last thing about the dreaded subject, because I was corrected by a citizen. I asked about the bumps on Lake Francis, and you said where the seams are that they could heat that up or something and fix that. I guess, well, two things. Will that be done? And then the citizen said she thought it could be better described as a washboard, like, and especially the south half. So I went and drove both directions, and I see what she was saying.
Yeah, particularly by Washington Street. Depending on the severity, so we do have portions of our contract that define the allowable change in a street. And so depending on the severity of that, it may require them to remove a portion of pavement and repave, because that does seem to be an issue with them setting their paving machine in that area and getting that rise and fall on the outside of the lane, but not on the center line. So it's not an even cross slope through that portion of the street.
So that's something they can fix or will fix, or?
I've not inspected it to see how it lines up with our specs. So if it's out of compliance, then they will be required to fix it.
Okay. Because it was then described to me like, that felt like the stuff should be fixed before final payment. And I said, well, I assume that it would be that way, because they said if I had a roofer and they didn't patch the whole roof, then I wouldn't pay them, so.
That is correct. We've not issued final pavement, and we've not had a final inspection.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betsy. Lisa?
Thank you to all the individuals and churches that came together and provided the warming tent. You guys are doing a great job. I received that same text that David did, and I responded back. I love to see the churches come together and provide a service that, shows that we are a godly community. This is a question for the board. I kind of need direction because things have changed recently. The February 18th meeting, I requested that we have on the agenda, the Rotary has a different type of drug take-back program that they're going to present to us for us to vote on if we want to do it in our community or not. And there's a presentation that goes along with it. Well, we stopped doing the pre-agendas and on the streets and on this other project, we're coming in at 4:30. Do you want them to do a 30-minute presentation? How do you guys want the presentation presented? Since we're kind of changing things, I don't know what to tell the Rotary group. I need direction.
Ellen? What?
So I'm sorry, Director, explain to me, I'm trying to follow what you're asking about the presentation.
The February 18th meeting, the Rotary's presenting the drug, the new drug take-back
gotcha.
program. There's a 30 to 35-minute presentation. How do we want to do that? Because we've been changing things recently. We no longer do the pre-agendas.
We could have I was thinking as you were talking about, one of the things we could have a workshop. Again, if we have those type of presentations at the agenda, it's going to make for,
A long meeting, and that's what I'm trying, that's why I'm asking directors, what do you guys want? I mean, we're still gonna have presentations. Are we gonna just keep coming in at 4:30? Are we going to have pre-agendas? Or do we want the meetings to be longer? I'm okay with anything, you just,
and usually I did, and I apologize, Director. Usually I would do the workshop at 5 o'clock. I just knew streets were going to go kind of long because that's one of our, as the board, that is something that we really need to work on, and we'll probably, have to talk about it some more. But if we want to do that or come in at 5:30 or 5, that's the pleasure of the board. I'll be happy to accommodate however you want to do that.
How long is this presentation?
they said 30 to 35 minutes.
We've had many presentations in the agenda that were over 30 minutes. Maximum was an hour or more. Public comment, we had Bill Hall talk for 25 minutes. I don't think there's a problem with you having it in the agenda. We certainly don't need a special workshop ahead of time for something that is only 30 minutes.
Is it already on the agenda for the 18th?
And I'll look, as we set today, we worked on the February 4th agenda, and I don't know how heavy that one's going to be, but I'll look at it. I'll get with Janae, and we'll see what it is. But of course, if that's something the board wants to put as a presentation, I'll be happy to do that.
I'm okay with during the meeting, I'm okay. Before the meeting, I want to respect the other directors.
I kind of agree with David that we've had presentations that have taken a little longer.
That's the pleasure of the board.
So if it's already an agenda item, I think that I would ask that if everyone is agreeable with that we have that during our regular meeting. Yeah.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Is this the drug program that we had previously that we turned to the police chief and he said it wasn't necessary, or is this a new drug
I don't know if
program?
it never got presented.
It did.
I think it's probably the same one.
Mr. Larry.
We've sat through one and the
But we never
PD
voted on it.
Okay.
What would we be voting on?
It's a program.
That program?
Huh?
Is this Mr. Kennemore's program?
Mhm.
We did see a.
I think our police chief, maybe, were you our chief at that
He was
time?
the police chief
Yeah.
at the
Okay.
Yeah, they visited with me to see if we would be interested in the program, and I'm no longer, that would be something that Chief Miller, I don't know if they've had a chance to meet with him, because I think they would want to house that program in police headquarters. I'm not sure that's something you would support. Because I remember it's kind of a liquid that goes in there and dissolves the drugs. I think that's the same one.
Madam Mayor, Chief Scott Miller, Chief of Police, I have a meeting scheduled with him tomorrow morning
Oh, okay. Perfect. Well, then
to
let it
discuss
go with that.
and see where we're at on it and
I think that's
what
a
all
good
it's
idea.
going to entail and kind of go from there.
So if you're good with that, then I would say that after he has his meeting and you all have an opportunity to visit about that, then you can make some decisions and recommendations to the board.
Right, I think that's somewhere you should start with Chief Miller now, because that's been probably a year and a half since I saw it. A lot of changes could be made. It could be a little different, because I know I had some questions about it, but they've probably made some changes, which Chief probably needs to listen to and see if it's even something he would be interested in. If he is, that's something we could bring forward to the board then.
Sounds
If that's
good.
okay.
Yeah, the Rotary made the request, and we never voted, so, and we have a new board. If you're cold, if you're cold in here, it's my fault. I'm just going to admit it. And Brad, I'm going to blame Brad. I'm going to blame Brad because both of us were kind of hot when we came in here, so I'm sorry if you're cold. It's my fault. I am too, but.
Thank you, Lisa. Reed?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to say thank you to the City of Siloam Springs for being able to tell our story. It's a wonderful place, and it's good to know that others can recognize what we have, and that we can recognize it. It was good to go to AML last week, the Arkansas Municipal League. It's good to know we have a resource of 500 communities in 75 counties in the state of Arkansas. And when we can work together and to glean information from others and give information, it's good to know that we have that cooperation in our state. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thanks, sir. Brad?
It'll be 3 minutes quick. I'd like to thank David Shelton for coming up, the Word of Life. If you've not been down there and volunteered on a Friday, there's also Feed My Sheep down there. And the Earth Angels is part of that program with the warming tent. Feed My Sheep has recently purchased a food trailer that is mobile and cooks. I don't think it's fully funded if you're interested in that, but there is I did volunteer down there. I volunteered because my friend started it, one of our former firemen, but I just wanted to see. And there is a need, and there's a great group of people that spend an enormous amount of time in that program. I've said it before, we need to think globally and act locally at the local level. And I know our church groups will step up. I hope we can do something on the logistics and liability side. I think that's what our hangup was before. And so surely we can work on that one. So I also attended the Arkansas Municipal League. It was exciting because when I talked to people on the floor, they mentioned Northwest Arkansas, NICA facility out at JBU. Their kids are riding bikes. And I also spoke with Senator Dees and Representative Randy Torres about tourism. And it's basically free money. It's at our table right now. I've spoken with the chamber. The city is capable. They have staff. We can work with the chamber, with Main Street. The Discover Siloam program is an excellent way to accelerate this. And this is immediate money that's tangible right now. It doesn't require us to spend any amount of money to look for things. It's here. We just have to be active. And Governor Sanders has some great programs that are available at the state level to help with that funding. And that money is tangible to the point to where I would like to see us start tracking that. And that needs to go into infrastructure projects so we can accelerate them. Outside of the street meeting tonight, the workshop, which we're going to have several more because it's a massive need. We also have a aging water system and an aging sewer system that is below ground. We cannot see that, and that is going to have to be addressed. When we got the award for the riparian zone, I was excited because water is the new gold. That's the statement across the state, but it's the statement in Northwest Arkansas. And our discharge, we are accountable for our discharge. And you may not know it, but our water starts at Chesney Prairie off Bill Young Road. And it slowly makes its way into Siloam Springs, Arkansas. And then we discharge it into Oklahoma. And I would just encourage us that we start looking as this growth continues, as annexation comes back to the table in a couple of years, or in the future, that there is land out there that we must preserve that cannot be built on, so that we can protect that water for the next generation, and we don't pass on any liability or future lawsuits to them. So, having said that, thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Thank you, Brad. Yes.
Just on the director's comments, just where this board knows, myself and Ms. Segan and Megan, we just had a meeting probably around just a couple weeks ago about tourism and taking a different role. So that is in discussion and looking at different grant opportunities. So that is, and I have someone that was kind of her bread and butter, what she was doing, so really good at it. So we're going to be looking at that in the near future. So
Thank you, Madeline. So David?
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Yes, sir?
I am going to read an email for the record from Jerry Cavness. He has written twice about the fireworks in the city. I have previously expressed my feelings allowing fireworks in the city limits New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. When it was first decided to allow them to be sold and set off, I was against it then. I remain against it and am asking you as our city representatives to rescind this ordinance and not allow fireworks leading up to and after the first of a new year. Why do I ask this? It is because it causes great anxiety and fear in dogs in these neighborhoods. I also know persons that suffer from PTSD that have a very difficult time with the loud noises and lights. It is difficult enough during the 4th of July, but should not be allowed the first of each new year. I like a good fireworks show like many do. However, it should be reserved for a proper controlled one-time show and not in heavily populated area. Thank you for your attention to this matter. This was his second email, I believe, or maybe his first, but I have felt like I was the only one until hearing from him that have felt this ordinance needs to be addressed. I've tried to address it in the past, up until I believe 2019. It had not been allowed and got changed, and then a few years ago got changed to reduce the number of days around July 4th. But I'm going to ask that we revisit this and change this ordinance at the next board meeting, because of the amount of people that have talked about it on Facebook and have called and sent emails. I think it's only fair that it be changed back to the way it was to give it a chance, most especially with the amount of fireworks that go off near midnight. And in fact, this year was going off every day and night, a full week after New Year's Eve. Speaking of Jerry, he sent the board an email about the event that the American Legion sponsors regarding the 4 military chaplains who gave their lives on February 3rd of 1943 when their boat was sunk, and they helped the rest of the people on their boat get to safety. They were all different chaplains of different faiths and religions. But as Jerry said in his email, here in America, we've had so many acts of bravery and willingness to protect and serve that have been done during the tragic years of war and peacetime. We should never forget these dates in history and those that died for our freedoms. This is why I'm sharing this with you. On Sunday afternoon, February 2nd, at the First Church at 325 East Twin Springs, American Legion Siloam Post 29 will be telling this incredible true story of heroism. And as leaders in our city, I hope you and your family and friends will plan on attending. You will leave with grateful hearts and a great sense of pride in our American spirit. And I just want to thank Jerry and encourage anyone and everyone to attend on February 2nd to hear the story of the 4 chaplains. I want to address something that I have come across in the past and recently saw it again, with yesterday being Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. In our employee handbook, we have it listed with that, and also Robert E. Lee's birthday. And frankly, I think that is offensive, and I think we need to remove it from our employee handbook list of holidays. It's not a federal holiday to have Robert E. Lee's birthday celebrated, and I think that needs to be removed as soon as possible. I think that we were supposed to review the employee handbook at the end of last year, and it did not happen, but that is one thing I would like to see occur immediately. I also would like to have our administrator send us an email report on the changes that were made to comp time or overtime, whatever it's called, that we heard a lot of employees were upset about several weeks ago. we didn't ever get any kind of report as to what changes were made, and I would like the board to be informed of that. And I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, David. And
Madam Mayor.
before I ask for a motion to adjourn, and I think Alan also has something he would like to say, but I just want to say about the four chaplains service that will be held on the 2nd. I encourage anyone and everyone that has the time and can attend that. It is a very, very emotional ceremony that they have, and I have been there the last 4 years and presented a proclamation, and it is, it's a story that we all need to hear and to remember. So I encourage all of you to attend if you can at all. And so, Alan?
One other
Oh,
thing
yes.
I'd meant to ask Alan, we brought it up at the workshop, but I never did hear what you'd learned on that Villa View redo of the Villa View Drive at the late 2023. I think you'd said you had talked to Steve Gorchick about why it was so bumpy. Can you inform us on what was learned on that?
Steve was going by there, and he said he couldn't find issues with that. So since Kevin's on board and bringing it up tonight, Kevin, again, will go out there and take a look at it and see if there's anything that we can do.
You drove it, you experienced, you knew what I was talking
And
about.
again, it's just, I didn't know if it was new and it's choppy, so I can go out there and try, and ride it and see what that issue, but let Kevin and I will try to get out there tomorrow. If Kevin, if you would, just drive out there, see what you see, if anything.
I appreciate it.
And give a report back if you don't mind. The thing, I guess it needs some direction from the board. Is this something that the board wants staff and I to go back and look at this firework ordinance? Am I hearing we want to completely get rid of the fireworks?
I am making a request that we change the firework ordinance. I have the right, as a city board member, to bring that up and make a change to it, and therefore, that's what I'm doing.
Yes, sir, and I understand that, but I have to write it the way you want it.
That's right.
So I
And
need,
when we get it in here and review it, if there's people that want to make amendments or changes, that's fine.
so I'm trying to get clear direction from you. Are you asking that you want it completely removed, the fireworks, or are you just asking for it to be removed on New Year's?
New Year's and July 4th only.
So
Do we
then-
even want it New Year's?
None on New Year's or New Year's Day.
Oh, okay,
None
right.
at the end of the year.
I think that's what Mr.
That's what I'm trying to
Cavness
get
was
clear.
saying.
None at
He
the end
was-
of the year. The
he was
only time it
hoping
would be
nothing, yeah.
4th of July.
was July 4th and the removal of all sales of fireworks within the city limits. There's no need to have it. We don't need it. It didn't happen before. People can easily go right outside the city limits and sell them as they did for many decades.
Sir? So with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.